the end of the session. I can rest you assured.
Oh, thank you very much, Vinay. And you know what, Maninder and Vinay, on my screen, you both are sitting together.
That's great.
Okay, great. So please proceed.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sunita from Jaipur, and I'm into teaching. And I've joined this for like self-enrichment kind of a thing. Just wanted to know what kind of thing it is. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much, Sunita, ma'am, for joining. Quickly.
Hello, good evening, and hello to everyone. My name is Isuru, and I'm from Sri Lanka. By profession, and I'm a merchandiser, but on a break right now. And it's really nice to meet you all.
Great. Thank you, Isuru.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Prableen ma'am. I'm Monisha Gupta from India, and I'm in class 8.
Great. Thank you, Monisha.
Hi, everyone. This is Pedish Kumar from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. I'm into sales and marketing.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself to you. I am Mahesh. I'm a soft skills trainer and I'm from Andhra Pradesh.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you.
I would like to say people know who have not introduced themselves. So it would be a great idea that when the one participant completes their introduction, the one who has not introduced themselves, they can begin with their introduction. It's a small thing. Name, country, profession.
Okay. My name is Rashmi, and I'm working as a motivational expert right now with Apollo, and I'm from India.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rashmi.
Hi, Renuka
Renuka.
this side. I'm HR by profession based in Mohali, India.
Wonderful. Thank you, Renuka, and thank you for joining.
Thanks, Prableen.
Pleasure. So Faruhat, Shama, Sangeeta, Monica, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sangeeta. I'm from Mumbai. Basically, right now I'm in Mumbai. I'm a mindfulness trainer, and just want to learn some more about these. I'm here.
Great. Glad to have you here, Sangeeta. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure. Faruhad, Shama. Yes, Shama, would you like to introduce yourself now? Please unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shama Hafiz Marika. I am from Muscat. I am a former science teacher, and I have learned many things from Prableen. And I'm also into training field now, coaching and training. And very soon I will be launching my courses as well. This is all about me. Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank
you, Shama. And Faruhad, yes, please proceed.
Hello, everyone. I am Farhad. I am working in HR profession. I am from Maldives.
Great.
Thank you for the session program.
My pleasure, Faruhad, anytime. And thank you very much for joining in. So,
thank you.
Pleasure. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone. And you know what? While I was requesting people by taking their name to introduce themselves, it was feeling like that very famous dialogue from the movie Sholay, Tumhara naam kya hai Basanti? So, you know, like you know the name and then you are saying that, okay, please introduce yourself by taking the name. Having said this, today we are going to begin with something which is extremely important, and it has become extremely important. Thank you, Monica, for reminding me. Please introduce yourself, and I'm sorry that.
I go ahead, Prableen.
Yes.
Hi.
Though I see that you are speaking, Monica, however, I'm unable to hear you properly. No.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, very clearly.
But now I can't hear you all.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just a second. I don't know what.
I think so now I can hear you all. So guys, myself, Monica, I've done a mindfulness practitioner course with Prableen and I quite like her. And I am from Bombay in sales and marketing.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Monica, for taking out time from your busy schedule, because I know, you know, how it is with you these days. And Mona has also joined us. Mona, just a small introduction, your name, which we already know, but then again, your name, your profession, and your country. Okay, no problem. There must be some network issue, but that's okay. So I hope that everyone is done with their introduction. I have not missed out on anyone. Having said this, we all are here together today to discuss about something which is very important, which has always been very important and significant in our lives, which has actually made people successful and work towards something which was for greater cause. Now, in these times, it has become all the more important for us. And we all know what's that. Would anyone like to let us know that what is it that we are going to discuss today? Though you know, because it's the subject that we have to discuss, but even then. Appreciative inquiry, right? So what is appreciative inquiry? How we execute it? What are the mindsets that are required in an appreciative inquiry? That's very important for us to know, because, you know, till the time we are not aware, we cannot implement something. Till the time I don't know that this is the medicine for this particular cause, I will not be taking that particular medicine. So hence, this is actually need of the hour, specifically in these tough times. And this has already been the process of people who used to achieve bigger things in their life. To understand appreciative inquiry, there is one small story that I would like to narrate with all of your permission. And it's a rewritten version of Alice in Wonderland. Shall I proceed with the story? Shall I share the story with you all? Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Why not?
Great. Thank you. And
Yeah.
before I proceed, is my voice audible to you all?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Great. Hi, Swati. Good to see you.
Hi.
Yeah. So this story, Alice in Wonderland, next version. Over here, we have this. What would you like to name this? Because the story revolves around this little chap. What is the name that, let's say, Mona, would you like to give this? Okay. Anyone else would like to give any name to this particular chap?
Bingo.
Bingo. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Renuka. So let's proceed with our story. One day, what happened? This Bingo, as you know, now these are the lockdown days. So we get bored because we are unable to go out. So Bingo lives in India. And one day in the city where Bingo lives, the lockdown was relaxed for 2 days. Okay. So the very first day the lockdown was relaxed, this Bingo thought that let me go for a nature walk, you know, as if I have become really fat. So let me go for a nature walk. And he went towards the Sukhna Lake in Chandigarh. Okay. So over there we have a lake, and then some trees are also there. So it's a quite nature expedition. So while he was going through that particular nature walk, after a few hours, Bingo realized that he lost his way back to home. And then he got really scared. He sat on a rock, and Bingo thought that, what happened? How can I forget the address or the way to back to my home? Then Bingo also thought that, what did he do because of which he chose a path like this, which made him forget the way back to home? And while he was thinking all these things, there was a flood of thoughts. There was a flood of thoughts, or you can say the whirlpool of thoughts that came to him, that there must be something which he has done in a wrong way. He is not good at nature walk, or he's not good when he's alone. He has to be with someone. And he kept on thinking all those things, kept on in that whirlpool. And later on he decided, and he said to himself that, I don't think that I will ever be able to reach my home now. So with this small story of this cute little Bingo, what do you think? Will this Bingo be able to get to the home back, or whatever he's thinking is right? Anyone?
Can get back home.
He can get back home, Tulsi.
Yes.
But then he's thinking, Tulsi, that he cannot get back home, because you know now how demotivated he's feeling right now. What could be the reason that he's so despair and he's so distressed? Anyone, not only Tulsi, open to everyone. What is?
Actually, he's in cycle of thoughts that he's unable to think clearly. So he's in that whirlpool right now.
Wonderful.
So he needs to break that cycle.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Maninder. So I heard, and we all heard Maninder say that he is in a whirlpool of cycle where he's thinking that he cannot do that. And those thoughts are located where? When I say located where are these thoughts coming from? Past, present, future?
Past.
Thank you very much. Who said this? Monica?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Monica. Absolutely. Because remember the kind of questions he was thinking, what did I do because of which I lost my way? I must have done something wrong because of which I'm on this path, which means that he is contemplating on something which has happened in the past, because of which he thinks that now he will not be able to do it. Which means that this little Bingo is looking backwards. And appreciative inquiry tells us to look forward. Don't look that why it happened or what bad happened to me. Look at, if something bad has happened to you, where do you want to proceed? Way forward. So appreciative inquiry is basically a way forward. And throughout this entire discussion that we'll be having today, we'll ensure that our Bingo gets something positive through which he can reach back his home. Okay, so let's proceed with it. So let us tell this Bingo to take a seat. He's going to take a seat over here. In the meantime, let's find way for him. When we say, as this picture also depicts, that appreciative inquiry tells us to look forward, which means forward looking. How to look forward? Because Maninder very clearly mentioned that he has to break the cycle of the kind of thoughts which are keeping him demotivated. So to break the cycle of demotivating thoughts, he has to cultivate the habit of creating motivating or encouraging thoughts. Opposite has to happen. And this is what appreciative inquiry teaches us. Name itself tells us appreciative means something that we appreciate, something that we look forward upon, which gives us hope, which gives us some strength that yes, I can do it. And inquiry means inquiring within ourselves, around our surroundings, that can help me to achieve my goal. Does it make sense so far to everyone? Okay. Now,
Yes.
thank you, Renuka. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Monica, Tulsi. So now when we know that it is looking forward, there are certain components. There is actually a strategic planning in this appreciative inquiry, which helps us to look forward. And this appreciative inquiry is not only about positive thinking. It has been derived from few data-backed sciences and researches. And what are those evidences which proves that appreciative inquiry works the best in achieving your goal, in keeping the organizations positive, in creating the harmony between the relationships so that they can achieve much bigger goals than they have been thought of. What are those evidences? Let's see that first. Those evidences are related to the brain sciences, and the very important thing that is required for those evidences is this. Who would like to tell us, what do you see here in this image? And what's that major or main aspect that builds those evidences and mindsets of appreciative inquiry? What is this?
Core. The core of the earth.
Absolutely. Thank you, Monisha. Thank you, Shyama. This actually tells us that there is a core of appreciative inquiry. So there is something which is there so strong that drives the entire process of appreciative inquiry, and which is core. And what is that core known as? You will see that this core, the name of this core, which I'll be sharing with you all, it is used in the process of implementing appreciative inquiry also. The core is positive core. This is known as positive core. There has to be something positive that resides in your core, which instigates the breakthroughs through your thinking pattern, through your feeling patterns, through your action patterns. And this core consists of strengths, your strengths, which means bingo's strengths. It also includes peak experiences. Any peak experiences that you or bingo must have experienced in their lifetime. This builds and strengthens the core. It makes the core positive. Best practices that you may have ever followed, which might have given you the best possible results in your life. Your successes that you have achieved when you were doing something or working on some task. And last but never the least, your key learnings from whatever happened in your past, key learnings from those things. So all these strengths, peak experiences, your best practices, your successes, your key learnings build and strengthen your core. So just like our earth has a core in itself, as we see in the image, similarly, we all have a core. People who are in fitness world, they must be hearing out their coaches saying, you have to strengthen your core. To build the stamina, you have to strengthen your core. Similarly, people who are in organizations or in HR or in motivational speaking or training fraternity, they say that your core has to be strong, which means your fundamental, the material you are made of has to be strong. So what are those materials? Those materials are strengths, peak experiences, best practices, successes, and key learnings. This has to be there in your mind every time. You should be aware of these things, and this builds your positive core. Does it make sense so far to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. So now with this core, and remember this core because we are going to use it in the mindset also, we are going to use it in the process also. So this core will always remain there in your appreciative inquiry. Okay. The evidence we were talking about is derived from mindfulness. Deep research has been done on the concept of mindfulness, on the concept of meditation, on the neurosciences. And when we say neurosciences, the very first thing that comes into picture is the year-long research of neuro-linguistic programming, your positive psychology. So all these things, these were researched, and then they came up with the theory of appreciative inquiry, that how it is going to help us, the organizations, families, employees, colleagues, students, clients, everyone, if we build the culture of appreciative inquiry. There are placebo effects. Placebo effect theory played a major role in deriving this appreciative inquiry as well. If you believe in something, it happens. And as and when we unfold in this journey, we unfold the materials and components of this journey, you will realize that your belief is going to drive everything for you in your life. Your belief as a leader will drive your organization in certain aspect. Is it understandable? Am I able to make it understandable so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. In case any question comes to your mind, please feel free to write it down. We will cover it later on once the topic gets over.
Sorry, Praveen, can I have a question regarding the evidence?
Please ask, Maninder.
So, okay. So how is it linked with the core?
How is it linked with the core? How the evidences are linked to the core? This is what you want to ask, Maninder? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible. So I am just
Right.
clarifying.
This was my question.
Okay, that how this evidence is related to the core of positive core of appreciative inquiry. Thank you for asking this question, Maninda. Though it will be covered in the later section that we are going to cover. However, let me give the brief gist of this. It is proven by the science and the scientists now as well that mindfulness, meditation, neuro-linguistic programming, positive psychology, they create a language pattern or a programming pattern of brain. So let's say if someone doesn't complete the task that I have given to them, my mind takes it in a way that they have not respected my authority, or they have not respected the task that I have given to them. If my mind takes it that way, I will never be able to appreciate or move forward towards what needs to be done, because I will be getting into the spiral that this person is not listening to me. This person doesn't obey me, or they doesn't take the orders, or they doesn't get the work done. Mindfulness, meditation, neuro-linguistic programming, positive psychology, they have certain techniques because of which the neural pathways of our brain, they rewire themselves. And because of that rewiring, a person with a negative mindset, so-called negative mindset, that person is capable of thinking of different possible options in the same situation. So where I used to think that this person doesn't respect me because he has not completed his task, if I am aware of these concepts and the techniques used in these concepts, I will be able to think of several other reasons that what could be there because of which this person hasn't done his job. So instead of interrogating that person, I will become curious towards the reason which made him do that. And that will change the entire theory for us, for the organization itself. So instead of telling that person that why didn't you do it, I will be more concerned about what could have happened because of which this person was not able to do it. And there is a difference. Why didn't you do the task, and what was the reason because of which you were not able to do the task? They have separate meanings.
Right.
In our
so
brain.
I got your point. I mean, finding the positive reasons, I think.
Yeah,
Finding the positive reasons, I think.
yeah.
Right. So I got your point. I mean, finding the positive reasons, I think.
Yes, you are right. Finding the positive
In a
reasons.
way.
It's not actually finding. It actually, your brain starts working on those lines. It doesn't get
Right.
to the negative pathway. It actually chooses the positive pathway. Remember bingo? So bingo chose the negative
May I just
pathway.
interrupt? I just wanted to explain this because I feel in one way the person is feeling his authority is challenged. The other way the person is being appreciative of the person's circumstances which did not allow him to work. Probably the person did not have the required experience, did not have the required tools or the knowledge. So the second one is like, we try to find out the reasons and appreciate the situation in which the person is instead of
Absolutely.
blaming the person.
Thank you, Sunita. Thank you very much. And when we say this, there is something going on in the brain that whatever is going on in the brain, that has to be fixed. Only then our statements will come in a certain way. Does it answer the query somewhat, Maninder?
Exactly, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So it will not be finding, it will be just like my mind works in that particular direction. The way it works in negative direction, it can also work in positive direction. So this is how it is. I would like to say that people who are writing the responses on the chat window, please forgive me. I'm unable to see the chat window right now. So I will go through those chats in a while. Having said this, if this is the backed up evidence of appreciative inquiry, this means that it's powerful. It has strength. It has something that can bring in the change. And for that, it is important for us to know what is the mindset which is required for an appreciative inquiry. And that will further answer the question that you asked, Maninda. So there are 5 fundamental principles of appreciative inquiry, which are actually the mindset that we have to adopt. We have to practice those particular 5 principles to get the mindset of appreciative inquiry. And those principles are very simple. We know it, but we have to remember them. We have to keep on reminding ourselves that it works on these principles. Constructionist. This is the first mindset or first principle of appreciative inquiry. Constructionist means the language. What are the words that we use? Because words create our reality. Many theorists, many scientists, many researchers, psychologists have actually proven this fact that the kind of language you use for yourself and for others, it creates the reality. And this is what this principle also tells us. The kind of words you choose while speaking, what the meanings will interpret the result of that particular conversation. Just like the same example that we were using during Maninder's question, why have you not done the work? And were you able to do the work? Or what could be the possible reason because of which you were not able to do the work? These have different meanings in our mind. Because one is very direct and it's a blaming thing, which Sunita ma'am also mentioned, that the first one is, I'm blaming you. Why didn't you do this? My tone will also change. Doesn't matter how good my intentions are. So that is why words are very important. Please ensure that you take good care of your words. And as we keep on discussing in our programs also, whatever we conduct, that you need to have an art of eloquence. Your eloquence will decide your future and your success. So ensure that you replace certain harsh words with some empowering words. For example, the word interrupt. It's a harsh word. Let's replace interrupt with the word pitch in. Don't interrupt someone, because the moment you say, let me interrupt, or sorry for interrupting, the other person's mind will catch this word interrupt, and it will interpret it as, oh, this person is interrupting me. Why to give that message to someone's mind? Instead, we can say, allow me to pitch in. Let me pitch in. I'm sorry, I'm pitching in. Pitching in is a very collaborative word. And similarly, there are so many words in the dictionary, in the vocabulary that you can adopt, which will replace the words which are harsh with the empowering words. Does it make sense? Am I able to make some relation that how words create the reality?
Exactly, Prabhu.
Yes.
Thank you. So now with this constructionist principle, the another principle that it works upon, which we have to adapt and adopt, is poetic. And when we say poetic, it is actually, you know, the world of poets. And it doesn't mean that we will start writing poems, but it actually means that we start writing poems. So now it is contradictory now, whatever I have said right now, that it doesn't mean that we start writing poems, but it actually means that we start writing poems. So this principle tells us that in poetic, whenever we read some poem, do you remember that your teachers, they have asked you after every poem that what do you understand? What does the poet wants to say in this poem? And each one of you in that class had a different viewpoint of that poem. Did it ever happen to anyone? You may have, right? Thank you. You may have watched a movie. Thank you. You may have watched a movie, same movie the entire family is watching. However, the conclusion or the end that is happening, every family member has a different interpretation of it. And this is what our poetic principle tells us. It tells us that what you will focus on, it will grow. So as an organization, if you are focusing on the shortcomings will grow, because this is what you are going to create, because your interpretation of some task is the shortcoming. However, if you are determined enough to focus on the well-being or focus on the growth, automatically the growth will happen. Why? Because you have the power, each and every person has the power to create the reality, because they have their own interpretations in their head. So the poetic principle clearly tells us that when you choose to study success rather than problems, you find the possibilities and resources to make it happen. You can create new endings for the same situations. Such a beautiful principle, and this is very close to my heart. Then the next principle that comes is anticipatory. Anticipation means what we believe or what we expect. And this is what it tells us. It tells us that if you are anticipating something good to happen, it will happen, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Organizations generally work towards minimizing the escalations, minimizing the cost. However, if they work in the other direction, which means maximizing the customer satisfaction, maximizing the quality with reduced costs, that is going to make the change in the organization. Otherwise, what will happen? We will keep on defending ourselves, but we don't have to defend. We have to be proactive. So reactive approaches, let me reduce this cost. Let me reduce my customer escalations. Proactive approaches, let me make it more satisfied. Let me make it more qualitative with reduced costs. Does it make sense so far to everyone? Yes, no,
Yes,
maybe?
yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you. The fourth principle, very important principle, it's simultaneity. It means that the moment you ask an encouraging question, and please write down this word which I'm saying, the moment you ask an encouraging question, encouraging is the word. So the moment you ask an encouraging question, simultaneously the change starts happening in that situation. This means that your questions have the power. Use that power.
Probably what's the topic you said? What's the headline? Yeah, what's the headline of it? You said that there are 4 parts. What is the 4th part?
Simultaneity. Are you able to see the screen?
No, I'm not actually. I can't see.
Are you on mobile?
Yeah, I'm on mobile.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, never mind. What's the once again, if you could repeat it?
Absolutely.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneity. Simultaneity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Done.
Thank you. So now this simultaneity means that the moment you begin to ask empowering questions, simultaneously the change starts happening in that situation. Have you ever noticed that either you or maybe your loved one or someone is depressed and you ask yourself a question, I'm not that bad. What can I do so that I can become better at this? And the moment you ask this question, things start to change. The whirlpool of your thoughts, which was giving you the negative thought patterns, automatically stops and something else starts happening. That is where you are implementing this principle of simultaneity. So it's not about, is your question right or wrong? It's about, is your question empowered enough or not? Is your question empowering you or your team or not? That's the main thing. And more empowering your question is, more you will get the direction towards the success of the goal. Then comes positive. And remember, I told you that this positive core will be used a lot in the mindset and in the process also. So this is the same positive core, which says that in the core, the positive has to be there. There has to be the urge where you start feeling good about it, start acting good about it, and start meaning good about it. That is very important. The moment you adapt this mindset of positive core, automatically your appreciative inquiry starts getting into picture. So these are your fundamentals or 5 major principles of appreciative inquiry. The moment you adopt these principles and you live by them, you're able to process and execute your entire situation with appreciative inquiry. Does it make sense so far to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great. Now, very quickly, let's come to the process. Now, this is the mindset. Okay, I have adopted the mindset. Now what? I need to know some process that I can execute so that actually I start executing this thing. That process is important. And everyone has to complete that entire process to do it. So what's that process? It's very simple. No rocket science. It's about 4D cycle. So this 4D cycle or model says something. Before we go to the 4Ds, what do you see on the screen in between? Did I forget to put the animation on this, or what is it? Is it by mistake, or is it deliberate, or what is it?
It's the core of.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shyama. And I'm sure that many of you must have also given the same answer, maybe in your mind. Clap for all of you. Yes, this is the core. This is the core which will always remain there. Remember, in mindset also, you got positive in the principle. So the core has to be there. Without your core, without the strengthened core, you cannot even do the strengthening exercises, if we talk about that as well. So this core will always remain there. And that core is positive core, which means your strengths, your key learnings, your successes, your best practices, all these things. It builds up your core. So whatever experience you go through, it is strengthening your core. It is strengthening your positive core. So with this positive core in between, which means that whenever there is any situation in your organization, in your life, in your personal life, professional life, wherever it is, there is something positive that you hold on to, which will act as a starting point. This core will be your starting point to start the process that where I want to go now, where I am, and what are the best things available to me at this point of time. Now, with these things, where I would like to go, right? So with this positive core with you, you will start the process of what can be this? What do you see over here?
Satellite.
And what does it do? Absolutely, it's satellite.
taking pictures of Earth or like there are many uses of satellites like
Collecting information about other planets.
Absolutely. And when we get some information about other planets, or when we get the pictures of certain things, what do our scientists tell us? What does NASA or ISRO tell us? That it's a discovery that has been made. So the discovery part of it. So this is your first D of your appreciative model, 4D model, which is discovery. With the positive core, you get the strength to discover that what is it that I would like to happen. I would like to make it happen. With this discovery, leaders in the organization will think that we are here and it's a good thing. It's a pretty good thing. Itna bhi bura nahi hua. It's not that bad. With that positive core, then they discover that what is it that I would like the organization to work accordingly, or the team to work in a way. That discovery has to be there. Does it make sense? Yes, Sachin?
Just I want to ask something. Is it that mean that whatever happened, that is the past thing, and whatever we are with it right now, just to make the focus on the things and move forward to make it the best of that thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sachin.
Thank you.
And this particular understanding comes from core. If my core has all the learnings, experiences, best practices, successes, strengths available in it, automatically, whatever has happened, I still will have some good experiences, some successes in my life that will tell me that, okay, now you're not that bad. The company is not in a bad shape. It's okay. Even then it's COVID thing, but then you are also surviving. That's okay. And then from there, it's step forward. Remember, we discussed that in the first image, that looking forward. Then you discover that where you want to go. That's the first thing. The moment that happens, then this happens. And what's this? Would anyone like to? It's very clear, like it's clear in the picture itself.
Lot of thoughts.
What else?
Imagination.
Thank you. Absolutely. Dreaming or imagining. Visualization. Remember I told you mindfulness, meditation, neuro-linguistic programming, positive psychology, all these things use visualization also to a certain extent. And visualization is the key. Albert Einstein also used to say that anyone can learn anything. The main thing is, are you able to imagine? And this stage is dreaming state, where you dream that what all things can happen, what all best things can happen. Dream about it. Who is stopping you? There is no money that is involved in dreaming big. So it gives you dream big. You dream about what exactly you want to happen, how it can be, what are the various possibilities. If this happen, then how will it make me more better? How can it make my organization more better? All these things you think, you dream, you imagine. And once you do that, you are ready to design it with your team. And this is the design phase. Whatever you have discovered, basis that whatever you have dreamt about the possibilities, you are ready to design it now. Give it a structure. How would you like to do it? What all techniques, strategies, or actions will be required to do it? How many days? Whatever, according to your task and situation, design that. And this time, the design is based on positive core. Always remember, because it's not a blame game happening. It's not defending ourselves from something bad. It's actually exposing ourselves to something good. There's a difference. Generally, we defend ourselves that nothing bad should happen to us. But appreciative inquiry says, oh, please come on, be open and expect something good to happen to you and design it accordingly. The moment you design it, then comes
Deliver.
Here you go, Renuka. And see, this delivery boy is also here on our doorstep and he's delivering. Whatever we have designed, he's actually delivering that, and here comes the success. And deliver or destiny, you know, destiny also is destination. So delivering thing to its destination. So execute that. Whatever you have designed, please deliver it. And once you deliver that, you again have something extra added to your positive goal. And next time during discovery, this will act for you. This will act wonders for you because you have added one more feather in your cap. Does it make sense to everyone with this entire cycle and how this entire cycle is possible because of the mindsets of appreciative inquiry? If we don't believe, if we don't possess those mindsets, this will become difficult for us. So major thing is mindset is important. Those 5 principles that we did. Is it making sense so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Yes.
Great. So this is what appreciative inquiry does for us. And do you think that if we implement this with this mindset, those 5 mindset, constructionist, poetic, simultaneity, anticipatory, and positive, do you think that our bingo can find a way back home?
Yes.
Pakka?
Yes, he can.
Sure, he can. See, Tulsi
Yeah.
always believed in it, huh? So Tulsi, you already, I think, knew about the mindsets, huh? You already.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, absolutely, he will find a way, as Renuka is also saying with such a confidence, because all he has to do is discover, dream, design his way or path, and deliver, which means start walking towards that path. So this is all about appreciative inquiry. Isn't it simple? Super simple. No rocket science in that. What are your questions that you would like to ask?
I can easily resonate, Prableen, because I'm kind of bigger only. So it's very easy.
Wonderful. Glad to know that, Tulsi. Now comes your question and answer round. Feel free to ask any queries that you have related to appreciative inquiry or whatever we have discussed so far. No queries?
I had constructed feedback, but then this whole team
Vinay, the voice is actually cracking a lot. I think there is some network issue. It's cracking too much.
no problem. I just scribbled it down.
Okay, Vinay, though we were not able to understand what you were saying because of maybe the network issue or the crackling sound, but then you may write it in the chat window, and in the meantime, I'll open the chat window. Yes, any questions, anyone?
This comes under what, I mean, this is a concept of the theory, we can say. Under what topic it comes?
It comes under appreciative inquiry, Shyama. This
No,
is
no,
the
that appreciative inquiry comes under what subject?
Okay, problem solving approach.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. So it's a, you know, though corporate world says it as a problem solving approach, however, if we look at holistically, so in that case, it's a skill that is required. It's a life skill, basically. Automatically problems will be solved with it because the kind of techniques and mindset it incorporates, it actually solves the problems, and it's a way of living. Again, you know, as we say for NLP or mindfulness or coaching, it's a way of living. So when we start living this way, automatically the situations we are able to deal with in more sophisticated and diligent way. And I see that Isru, you raised your hand.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, Shyama. Thank you for asking. Isru, you raised your hand, I guess. Do you want to say something? Please feel free.
Ma'am, could you help me connect the specific bullet point under the evidences, which is meditation? how directly or how it exactly connects with problem solving approach.
Okay, thank you for asking this, Isru. So, if we specifically talk about meditation, you know that during the programs also it has been discussed and researched upon very clearly that it rewires our chemicals, hormones, our thought patterns. So when it rewires, the problem solving doesn't remain a problem solving only; it actually becomes solution oriented. So basically, appreciative inquiry is not focusing on the problem, it is actually focusing on the solution. And from where the solution will come? Here, like even if there is an organization, there are so many heads there. And those heads are going to discuss, brainstorm, come up with the strategies. If they are coming up with the strategies from the viewpoint of they should defend themselves, nothing bad should happen to them, automatically whatever actions they will come up with will be full of fear, will be full of doubts. On the other hand, if those heads are rewired enough in a constructive way, through which the ideas that they are going to share, the dreams that they are going to dream, it will automatically bring up these the solutions or the ideas that are going to take them to the place where they want to be. So the rewiring is the main thing. If I keep on using the statements, but my mind is not in a stable state, those statements will not help me. And that is why mindfulness, meditation, neuro-linguistic programming specifically, because it actually helps us to dream. And if whosoever have done NLP in their life, they know that the Walt Disney strategy of decision making includes dreaming stage in the beginning. And in 4D model also, you have a dreaming stage. So these are the, Walt Disney was not like he was a real man, like he was the person, living being. So it's not that something we are contemplating on our own, it's actually proven. So it was his strategy that has been included in the Walt Disney strategy. And this is what 4D model also says us, that there is a dream stage as well. Dream as much as you can and then design it also, you know, the realist part of it. Does it answer your question, Isru?
It does, ma'am, partially, but I'm still trying to understand a practical application of this in an organization. Like, do you see any organizations actually following a 4D model?
Oh,
there
yes.
are people, teams getting together and doing this?
Absolutely. There are many organizations, Walmart, Amazon, Google, Apple. I have actually worked with Apple personally, so I know it very clearly because I have been part of this. In fact, I have taught many of their in-house trainers on this about the appreciative inquiry, mindfulness, and coaching. So all these 500 Fortune companies, you can say, they follow this model, because without that, reaching at this height, it's impossible. It takes the inner work. It's a fire. Remember, we were discussing it yesterday also, Isru, that it's an inner work that has to be done. And that is what Positive Core is all about. You do so much for yourself, so much of hard work, because it takes your entire strength to be on a path which is an appropriate path. And that strengthens your core. And that core helps you to discover, dream, design, deliver. Otherwise those companies will give up. Arey, nahi ho raha hai. Oh, it's not happening, let's leave it. So it's a proper research based theory which has been implemented across all these organizations and many more than that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for asking. I think Swati also raised her hand, and Monica, you have raised your hand. Please proceed.
Hi, Praveen, can you hear me?
Yes, Monica, very clearly.
Can I just answer a bit of Isru's question, if you allow me, please?
Please feel free, proceed.
So it's true. If you really go to see, I don't know which class you're doing with Prableed, but I'm sure she does fantastic classes. But if you're talking about how these organizations, they actually do it in real life, it is not only about organizations. The organization A, we think it's cement and it's concrete, but they are humans, right? So if we cut it short, we come to know that we are actually talking only about humans. And we're not talking about any organization. So all the humans, they have a realm of possibilities. So there is a positive possibility and there is a negative possibility. So when you try to, kind of rewire your mind and you think about a different kind of possibility, you tend to know, or you figure out few solutions, which Prableen said it very nicely, that when you are into a meditative state or when you are in mindfulness, you try to calm your mind and you try to pitch in and tap those possibilities which you are not able to see because you are so fearful, and because a person is just feeling that things will not work for the person. And generally and mostly and 100%, this is what currently also is happening, that we are in that possibility that everything is going to come to end and nothing is working. But when we sit down calmly, very quietly, and we start thinking, we really come to know there is a possible way that we can find out a solution to a situation. So in fact, meditation is not only that will give you a calmer mind. The more the calmer mind, the more solutions you will get. So I was just trying to, share my inputs because I have been practicing and it really, really helps. I just wish that it helps to you also.
Thank you, Monica. It was a valuable insight. Yes, it's true. Does it answer?
Thank you, Monica. Thank you. I think it becomes a bigger challenge when you have to pull a team together on a mindful meditative journey, especially in an organization when you're being landed with a burning problem. It's very easily, it get deviated to that pointing fingers statement, depending on how crazy the problem that has occurred become. But I think it is definitely a challenge, and of course also the way to go forward. If you can bring all people in your team to be in this sort of a mindset where they all contribute in that same direction towards solving a problem.
Thank you for sharing this, Isru. All I would like to say, as I always say in all the programs, that I know this theory, it's my responsibility to drive it. We have to lead by example, walk the talk. So it doesn't matter, the leadership is not thinking that way, doesn't matter to us. How we think and how we are doing the task, that is what matters. There are so many teams in any organization, but you'll find that even then, if the leadership is, let's say, in a problem solving approach where they are looking at the problem only or the deficit only, you will still find certain team managers who actually derive by this appreciative inquiry, and their team is always performing well. Why? Because of the evidences we spoke about. So it doesn't matter. It's in whatever capacity we are, if I have the knowledge, it's my responsibility to execute it and share it also. And that is why trainers work. They have a passion towards training, not because they want to be known. It's because whatever knowledge they have accumulated, they want to give it out as well. And as a leader also, this is our responsibility. So now today, if I know the appreciative inquiry, the mindset of it, the principle of it, it becomes my responsibility as a leader that even if none of my team member is towards appreciative mindset, I will demonstrate that by doing it. Remember, knowing, being, doing. So the moment I start doing it, automatically people will start getting along me. We'll create our own tribe, and it happens this way in the organizations also. And when that manager leaves the organization, all other subordinates also leave the organization and come with him in a month or an year's time. So this is how the cult is formed or the tribe is formed. So what I do matters, right? Sachin, yes, please proceed.
Yeah, basically, Praveen, what I feels and what I get from this session is that whatever questions we ask, either we ask to someone else and either we ask to ourselves. The main important thing is that we have to change the approach of asking the questions to others and ourselves also. If we
Absolutely.
keep the if we keep the positive notes on the for ourselves, even in questions, that will change our mindset to the problem solving approach, not on the problem that take us to the solution.
True.
Am I
Very
correct?
true. Absolutely. Very appropriately said. The language is the main thing, how we speak to ourselves or to others. Absolutely. So all those principles put into practice, automatically your approach will shift. And I see that Vinay has mentioned that if I summarize, appreciative inquiries having the ability to ask the question, more the number of questions, more are the possibilities of discovering various paths of achieving goals, then to go on to test and implement until the perfection is delivered. Absolutely, Vinay. Thank you very much for sharing this. We were not able to hear you, but you have actually summarized it very beautifully. And when you say asking question, ensure that your questions are empowering. And this is for everyone, for me also. The questions have to be empowering. Otherwise, we to always ask questions. So it's just that, are they empowering the other person? What kind of relationship am I making with the question asked? That's also very, very significant, specifically in organizations. Managers, I have been the manager, the senior manager, the director, and I know that what kind of emotions can be evoked by asking certain questions. They can be heavy and they can be enlightening. So ensure that you bring in the enlightening emotion while asking any question so that you get the thing done from your team. And as we say, deprived cannot provide. If you are not enlightened enough within yourself, you will not be able to ask the enlightened question also, or empowering question also. For that, your positive core, which is made up of all those principles, has to be there. So everything comes back to working on our own self, not on the team, but on our own self. Thank you. I see that Sumit has mentioned team always follows their manager. So when as a manager implements certain practices, team automatically inherits the qualities with time. Yes, absolutely. I have seen that also. Thank you for sharing this, Sumit. So absolutely. Any other input question anyone would like to ask, please feel free to do that. So much of silence. Should I assume that everything is clear, or should I assume that everything is all clear? All clear means that I didn't understand anything. Clear means that, yeah, I understand.
No, you explained it really well, Prableen, and it was really enlightening.
Oh, thank you very much,
The session was really, really nice. I guess if you are looking, forward to grow as a person, as an individual. So there were so many things which you can learn from today's session. And there were so many things which you can actually implement in your field wherever you are working. Like even as a teacher, when I'm working, I feel, I need to reach out to the students, and I can implement these ideas even with my students, even in my class when, I'm teaching them or I'm dealing with them. So I guess you really, did a wonderful session. So you need not worry if we don't have questions. You should be happy.
Yes, and especially the 4D model.
Thank you. Thank you, Renika, and thank you, Sunita ma'am. It means a lot. Glad to be able to drive this particular topic, because we feel that it's the need of the hour in these tough times. So, yeah. So what now then? Shall we call it a day? Shall we call it a weekend?
Half day. Yeah, weekend.
Half day. Okay. So what do you think, Renuka and Tulsita already mentioned? Renuka, you have though mentioned as well. So what do you think? Is Bingo happy now?
Yes. When
He
he
is?
reached his home, yep.
Okay. So he's actually started going to the path also. See, he's going. Okay, great. So with this, in case if we do not have any other queries, then we can call it a day. In case if there is any query, that you are not able to ask at this point of time and you would like to ask later on, do not hesitate to message me. You know my number. Okay, so Sumit is saying something. We'll do that. You have my number and or my email as well. For many of you, I have sent an email. Feel free to share your query over there. I would love to answer them. And before we call it a day, Sumit is saying that can we have a selfie with video on? So yeah, can we have a selfie with video on, everyone? Tulsi, Swati, Sangeeta, Maninder, Renka, Faruhat. Okay, great. So let's become selfie wale mode mein. Let's come. Okay, sure. Mona, Faruhat, Pallavi, Rachna, Vinay, and who's the Samsung Galaxy? I'm sorry, I couldn't make out the name. Rachna, are we there? I would like to see you. Yeah, you are there. Great. Mona, Pallavi, Vinay. Okay. Let me bring the Bingo back. Bingo is back. He said I would also like to have a selfie. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so what sign will we be doing this? Okay, so whatever sign you want to do, my one hand is on the print screen and other is with the Bingo. So please excuse me for that. Yeah, so let's say cheese. Okay, done. Thank you very much. And I'll share this selfie with you all. And I will also post it on my social media channels as well. Feel free to get in touch with me through email, through phone, whatever is comfortable with you. And also please take care and stay safe, keep healthy, and keep on using your 4D model with the positive core. Never forget to strengthen your core, okay? So thank you for joining, taking out your time, and have a wonderful weekend ahead.
Thank you, Prableen. Thank you, Prableen. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Prableen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a great day.
Pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your wonderful things. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye, Renuka. Bye, Maninder. Bye, Swati.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
Shama. Bye, Tulsi. Bye, Sangeeta.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Rachna.
Bye,
Bye, Monisha. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye, ma'am.